Good morning. Welcome to the tHRive conference, the third weekend. Trust you had a great week. Thank you for joining me once again. Trust it's been an amazing learning experience so far. For those just joining for the first time this weekend, you're welcome. You've missed a lot, but there's still more in store for you. Thank you for joining. Adedoyin, Esther, Ada, you're welcome. Elizabeth, Felicia, Grace, you're welcome. Thank you all for joining once again. Just to confirm, hope you can all hear me. Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you for the feedback. You're all welcome again. Abib, Janet, Obaseki, Samuel, Olabisi Bashorun, Olushola, thank you for joining. Oduwatoyin, Omotola, peace. It's great having you all here again. Just giving a couple of more minutes for more people to join. This is the first session this weekend. Before we kick off, let me quickly read a feedback we got yesterday. Just to share some of the impact that this conference has been having and to encourage more people to join. So we got this feedback from, I think is even on this webinar now, from Obaseki Samuel. And he sends a mail and says, I want to say a big thank you to Adelam and the team. I make bold to say this anyway, that this is certainly unbeatable transformational record by all standards with regards to virtual HR learning since the emergence of COVID in Nigeria. So thank you so much for that feedback. Thank you, Samuel. We are glad that you're getting value from this conference so far. And also we'd like to get more feedback from everyone that has been joining, and for those that joined today, there's an event page on LinkedIn. Just go to, we'll share the link in the chat session, so you can give us your feedback there, what you learned on any of the sessions, the lessons that you'll be applying on your job, or just general comments, and just let us know how this conference is going so far. Would really appreciate, and also to continue the conversations there from what we share here, so that we can keep learning, share ideas, and then also to network and then engage with the attendees of this conference. So I'll share that link shortly, but first, let us go into today's session. So today we'll be looking at translating strategy into actionable plans. So we've been speaking a lot about strategy for the past 2 weekends, but your strategy is only as good as the implementation, the execution. That's what determines the outcome, the results, and the impact of your strategy. You can have lofty ideas, you can have great plans, but great strategies, but if you cannot break it down into actionable plans, it's just like building castles in the air. So today, our speaker, Faith Akintunde, will be taking us through how to translate our strategy into actionable plans so that we can get the desired outcomes that we hoped for. So let's quickly meet our speaker for today. Faith is a value-driven HR professional having over 11 years work experience across financial service, oil and gas servicing, and the manufacturing industry, with competence in performance management, employee engagement, talent management, learning and development. She worked at PZ Cousins as HRBP PZ Wilma, with focus on partnering leadership on business and people-related priorities. Prior to joining PZ, she worked with Flour Mills of Nigeria, PLC, where she served as the HR business partner for the Golden Pasta, Noodles, and Snacks plants, where she was responsible for facilitating performance management systems, strategic workforce, and succession planning for over 1,000 employees. Prior to that, she was the HR manager at Paints and Coating Manufacturers Nigeria PLC, where she handled various HR administration and expert management end-to-end processes. And also before that, she was also the one-time head of human resources at Maritime Securities Limited. She's the pioneer of HR professional leverage, the HRPL Academy, and Finance Pro Leverage. She's a certified HR professional with CIPM, SHRM, and HRCI. With a loud ovation and a thunderous applause, let's welcome our speaker for today, Faith Akintunde. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you very much, Jide. Thank you, Adulam Consulting. You've really been doing a fantastic job. I mean, feedbacks have been rolling in from all sides. This is a very great job you're doing, and God bless you. Good morning, everyone. I could see a lot of people in the house. I hope you can hear me. Thank you, Abib. So good to see you here. Okay. Let me see if I could share now. So while I'm trying to share, I'd just like to have a feel of the people in the house. I can see Abimbola, I can see a lot of people, fantastic, great guys, HR professionals, business owners and all. Very good to see you. So let's just a quick one to get to know you more. Just let me know you're in this house, you're HR professional, just write HR professional. You're in this house, you're not HR professional, you're every other person, either you're a finance person, whatever sector you are, you can put it there. If you're a business owner, put it there. Entrepreneur, business owner, you can say executive. So let's just let it roll in. Let's know the fantastic people we have in house this morning. HR people. Wow. Great, I like that. So there are HR people, there are non-HR people. Great. HR in the agriculture space, fantastic HR. I'm looking for business owners too. I hope you can hear me. Thank you, Samuel. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. Ada, good to see you. Muiwa. Great. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. So we have HR professionals in-house, mostly HR. So this is like a tHRive conference for HR people. Yes, that's what it is. Oh, fantastic. There's a school head here. Great. Awesome. Good, good, good. Okay. So today's topic, translating strategies into actionable plans. I just like to know, I just like getting into people's mind. I could be quite curious. So what was on your mind when you decided to join this session this morning, translating strategies into actionable plans? Like what Judy had said, the strategy is as good as your implementation, right? So if you're not going to execute, you should just not even bother to strategize, right? Fantastic. So in your own words, what were you looking out for, or what came to mind? You know, that's one of my favorite questions. What came to mind when you're looking at translating strategies into actionable plans? I mean, that's quite descriptive, it's straightforward, yes. But what are you looking for? Are we here?
Yes, we yeah.
Am
So
I missing out something?
there's some comments here. Bimshe says, "What was in my mind was enough talk. Let's take action." Obaseki Samuel says,
Beautiful.
"Practical understanding how it works." Monisola says,
Great.
"Getting results from strategy."
I like that. Great. So we're going to be as practical as possible this morning. So I'm really going to need your participation for us to make it practical. Yes, there are content you can read up, right? But we'll just get to the grind straight. I mean, we're going to be straightforward and get to the grind. So we might just have to skip some slides content and then just speak, right? And I mean, you would also participate. Tell me the challenges you've been facing at your workplace, at your business, right? And so before I continue in this outline, let me tell you, if I say anything that does not hit the nail on the head or does not hit the point, it's Jideo, it's not me, okay? But every other thing that hits the nail, you can thank my teachers, all right? Okay.
Okay.
So So today, by the time we're done with this session, right, you would, of course, have understood or refreshed your mind about strategy formulation. And then we will talk about why a lot of us make plans and it doesn't work out. And then what are those things that we need to do to execute effectively? And then we look at step by step, right? The things you should do step after the step, one thing after the other, on how to get your strategy to begin to walk on the street to become a reality. Okay. So let's listen to this, watch this video, listen to it, and would share your takeout. So I believe you have your jotters and your writing pad. So let's just watch this and take out whatever, hates you.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry to cut in. The slides are blurry. I don't know if
Okay, I may just need to check my internet the way my people do in this country. God help us. Let's see. Let me just change my source if that helps. Mm. Someone should help me call all the networks. They are all in my house. I have 3 major networks and I don't know why they choose to behave this way this morning.
Hello? Okay, apologies for the little issues with the presentation. She's trying to figure that out shortly and we'll be back. Okay, that will be sorted in give us 1 minute. But while we're waiting, I'd like to welcome those joining us from YouTube as well. And then we'd also like to know where you're joining us from across Nigeria or outside Nigeria, anywhere across the world. Please let us know where you're joining from. We had registrations from people outside Nigeria as well. So it'd be good to know if you are here with us in this session. So this is one of the challenges of virtual learning, the internet connectivity, but it will be sorted shortly. Just give us a moment and then we'll be back up running. Thank you for your patience. Welcome to the new normal. Okay, while that is going on, if you have any questions about the additional benefits of this conference that we've been speaking about, we've been getting some mails for clarifications. If you still have any questions about any of those things, like how do you get the certificate of completion, your certification credits, or the video replays, if you have any of those questions, you can quickly ask here before we get back into the session. Let's quickly address some of the. Yes, Uzoma, go ahead. Go ahead with your question. Uzoma, you said you have a question. How do you take the records? Okay, that question is not so clear. Are you talking about record your attendance, or how do you get the recorded replays? Please clarify. Okay, Olabisi is asking, does the attendance determine if you get the certificate? So the certificate is, the attendance code is for you to record your attendance. So on the certificate that we give to you, there will be a list of the courses that you attended during this conference, a list of the sessions. So that's why you need to take note of the attendance code for each of the sessions, so that the sessions that you attended can be recorded in your certification, in your certificate. Okay. Hold on, I'll get back to the questions. Let me just quickly set this. Okay, we are back. Can we all see the screen? I guess we can also see the screen. Great. Okay, let me just quickly answer the few questions. Okay, there are so many questions. I think we might take it after this session, so we don't, so that we can go straight into the session. So I'll take all these questions at the end of the session. Thank you very much for your patience. Faith, over to you.
My apologies, guys. I mean, on behalf of all the networks, in this country, I apologize. I'm really sorry. I mean, it just didn't work out. Sorry. And thank you, Jide and Adulam team, for saving me of this, whatever it's called. Okay. So, like I said, we're just going to watch a video shortly and take your jotters and all of that, and take note of whatever hits you from the video. I think we've been past the outline. We're going to look at a couple of things. Of course, on the deck, you would read up a couple of things, but we're just going to get to the grind and be as practical as possible. When we're done, you would be, certain that you have kept yourself abreast of things you know before, and of course, most likely you get to know a few new things, or just refresh or relearn, and then the core of executing strategy, right? So let's do this video and take your notes, write whatever hits you. Okay. Sound.
Okay. No sound here?
Yeah, so you need to, when you go to that share, you need to click those two buttons for optimizing sound and video.
Right.
Screen.
Managing the implementation and execution of strategy is easily the most demanding and most time-consuming part of the strategic management process.
Nothing on the screen.
Good strategy execution requires that managers pay careful attention to how key The task of implementing and executing the strategy also necessitates an ongoing analysis of the efficiency and effectiveness of a company's internal activities and managerial awareness of new technological developments that might improve business processes. In most situations, managing the strategy execution process includes the following principal aspects: First, staffing the organization to provide needed skills and expertise. Next, allocating ample resources to activities critical to good strategy execution. And ensuring that policies and procedures facilitate rather than impede effective execution. Finally, installing information and operating systems that enable company personnel to perform essential activities. Successful organizations achieve operating excellence and execute strategy proficiently.
Okay, Faith, done with the video. Hello, Faith.
Hi, I'm right here.
Hi, I'm right here.
Okay, so I was trying to get the screen showing. I think I noticed the screen wasn't showing when the video came on, but then I'm sure you listened through. So what did you pick? Am I the only one not seeing the screen?
The screen is showing here. Can we all see the screen, please? Let's get some feedback. Did we watch the video? Did we hear the sound? And can we see the screen now?
Okay, yeah, I could see this now. So what are your key, what are your thoughts? What hit you? What are the highlights? Yeah, you watched. Strategy execution, yes. So what do you need to implement strategy? I heard him talk about resources. Process, yeah. Staffing, having the right people. Yeah. So for strategy to work, your staff, your resources, your processes has to be in sync. It has to be, a synchronization between, among all of those factors. Yeah, you got to have right policies. Yeah, successful organizations, they execute their strategies effectively. So what makes a difference between the successful organization and the unsuccessful or near successful is the execution. Is the execution, that's it. Beautiful. Yeah. So if you make your strategies, you make your plans, you have got to make policies and standards that would guide the implementation of those strategies. Yes. That's right. So resources are to be determined by who? Of course, you've got stakeholders in your organization. as a HR professional, if you have never been considering yourself as a stakeholder, from today you should consider yourself as one. You're a major stakeholder, not only as an employee, but as a partner of the business. That's right. You've got to have the right people and the right tools. I got a privilege to be part of a project in an organization that's got resources in terms of financial resources. You've got great customers, but there were issues with the people, the kind of people on board. And so you find out that business leaders make strategic plans and bring the beautiful plan, but then it hits the ground running, and midway, in fact, not less than midway, you find out that everything about the strategy is forgotten. Why? Because the people that are supposed to make the strategy happen are not the right kind of people. We're going to talk more about that. Yes, you've got to have the right systems and structures. Yes. I wish I could do next slide from here. So let's move. So a couple of things. When you talk about strategy, you're looking at a framework. You're looking at a tool, right? That gives you a clear direction. You're in an organization and you really might not even know what exactly the strategy of the organization is, right? But you should know. So the strategy is that tool, that system, or that's what's it called now? Let's just say tool, right? That gives a clear direction as to, okay, in the next 3 to 5 years, where are we going to be? What are we going to be selling? What are we going to be in business for, right? What kind of markets are we going to be capturing? All right. Next, please. This is quite interesting this morning.
I'm going to give you soon, so you'll be able to change.
You can give me the remote. That could help. Yes. Thank you. Do I have it now?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'm just going to figure out how this works. Okay. Oh, beautiful. I do now. I think so. And then I don't think so again. It's blurry again. God save Nigeria, because everything is Nigeria now.
You have control, you can the specs.
And that's what I'm trying to do, and it seems not. Actually, I just want to go back to the previous. Okay, so strategy formulation. Honestly, we should actually spare ourselves all of these details, because these are things that you know. I want to believe so, but just for clarity purposes or for refresher purposes, you're looking at a strategy as something that helps you, right? As an organization, as an entity, or as a person, right? To decide the kind of things you want in your future. Now, when people compare strategic HR to a tactical HR, you want to say strategic HR is that HR that focuses more on the future, more on how our immediate actions affect the things we want to do in the future, right? Or where we want to be in the future. But then being tactical is just living for the day. You know that song, One Day at a Time. I love the song so much, but it's not strategic, right? So, but it could be strategic when we begin to take one day at a time in view of the future that we have in mind. Some of us know vision boards, right? Your vision board points you to what the future is, right? But your to-do list is what is taking you to your vision board. So if there's a disconnect between the two, honestly, we're doing super story. I mean, not not to speak negatively about that brand, but you know what I mean. Things that are just fictions. So let's get off fiction and pick appropriate courses of actions, things we want to do, right, to arrive at the future we desire. So as we progress, I like you to put this information on the backdrop of two things. You as a professional, what you want to do for your organization, how you want to move your organization forward. And then you as an individual, what are the things you're doing today that ties to your future? You have great future. You want to become the richest man in Nigeria or in Africa. What are the things you're doing today that ties into that future? You want to be the best mom. You want to get an award, from your children and all of that. What are you actually doing today that ties into that? So let's look at it from those two points of view. As a business partner, or an owner, right? And then as an individual, okay. I just have a challenge with this, my next. It seems okay. I hope I'm the one that did it. Okay, so ask yourself a question. The business where you work today, or the business that you run today, do you know that organization strategy? Do you know that business strategy? Any entity you're a part of, what's their strategy? I'm not expecting you to tell me a yes or no, but it's something to think about. What's my strategy, right? What's my team strategy, the HR organization that you belong? What's the strategy of HR? What's the strategy of the business that you're partnering, the business you're supporting? If your answer is a yes, oh, fantastic, we're making great progress. But if it's a no, we have a lot of work to do. But let's not be theoretical. Sometimes as time passes, strategy changes. So let's say you've been working in your organization for 10 years and you knew what the strategy of the organization is, but are you in touch with the current realities of that strategy? Because strategies change. I mean, COVID-19 is a typical example. COVID-19 happened to all of us globally. Go and ask. I mean, there's a very nice video that's a very funny one too, that talks about 2020 accounting itself to God, and it was as good as being canceled. Have you canceled your plans for 2020? So look at the strategy direction you have as a person, as an organization. 2-3 years ago, you knew what you were going to do in 2020, but COVID-19 has happened. That's the same way a lot of other things that we didn't plan for happen. How do you nip things in the bud? How do you re-strategize, right? But I mean, that's a conversation for next couple of minutes. But right now, the question is, do you know your strategy? Do you know the strategy of that significant entity that you are a part of? So we need to do some good homework. I wouldn't require you to answer me, but think about it. What exactly is that strategy? If you do know it, what's the strategy? And how are you a part of it? What role are you playing in that strategy? Okay. Now, this looks like a clear picture of where you want to be. This is a business canvas, right? So look at this business canvas. It's a strategic one because it talks about what you want to do, the things you want to do, how you want to do it, where you want to be. Okay, maybe not how. So as an organization, as an entity, you're identifying these key areas of your strategy and saying, okay, who are my key partners? What are the, let's just use the next slide so that we can put some meanings, right, to the canvas itself. So you're looking at your partners, the kind of people that support your business, either the people that are directors, the board of directors, decision makers, right? And your customers, the people that give you resources for what you do. Now, that's the major part of your canvas, a major part of your strategy. And then you're coming to your customer segment, because really without your customer, there is no business. So no matter how beautiful this canvas is, or you spend years developing this canvas, for those of us that want to go into business subsequently in a career, or in fact right now, you're managing a business, though you're an HR person, you're partnering a business. No matter how beautiful your canvas looks, no matter how detailed it is, just like this one on the screen, you've got to be clear about the things you are going to do. So, I mean, as it is, you have a value proposition clearly stated. What are you going to be giving out to your customers? What's the service you're delivering? What problems are you going to solve? But how do you want to solve those problems? I mean, it's a very critical bit of it. So think about an organization that has a mission, right, to become the most reckoned with digital bank in Nigeria. And they have an average of 25% of a daily of 24 hours, right, in downtime. How does that tie to their mission? They of course, they would have a strategy to deliver that mission, but there are some little parts, significant parts of how to deliver your strategy that may just mess things up. So imagine a business that wants to serve HNIs, right? High net worth individuals whose cleaner does not resume as early as possible, say an hour or two before the proper resumption time. And one of your biggest clients, say a Dangote, walks in and the reception is messed up. Think about that. How does that positively impact the vision or the mission that you have? You want to serve HNIs, and HNI walks into your office and it's not clean. As little as the cleaning is, or as insignificant as the cleaner might be, that person is a significant part of your mission, your vision. You see? So how an individual does something or does not do it has a major impact on delivering your strategy, right? So the how, the activities, the things that need to be done, you could see, if you look at this canvas, it's not really telling you exactly what to do, right? It's not a to-do list. It's more of questions, right? So you should have this. This is very beautiful. You should have this, because really, if you do not have this, there's no how you want to know what you want to do, okay? But beyond having a model, beyond having a canvas, beyond having a strategy, we will talk about the things that we need to do to ensure that these things come alive. I'm not sure if it's network that is not making a remote to work. Okay, I think it's working. So when you have that beautiful canvas there, that one I just showed you, it's done. I mean, a couple of us attend strategy retreats. You do it quarterly. You do it once in a month or monthly, right? You do it yearly. And when you go for that retreat, you spend 3 days and it's really hot. Everyone says, oh, fantastic. It was bang. We came out with a very beautiful canvas and we have clear plans. Why is it that we come back the next strategy session or strategy retreat and we keep hitting back at each other saying, oh, this didn't work. This didn't work out. Or this person didn't do this person didn't do that. Why is that? Because sometimes we don't link our strategy to the budget or the things that we need to get the strategy done. So someone says they want to become a multi-millionaire. It's just one instance. And they're not even saving. How does that work? And then in 2 years' time, you come back and you're actually asking for a loan. Not a loan to do business, not a loan to invest. You're asking for a loan just to meet basic needs. Yes, COVID-19 happened. Fantastic. Yeah, sorry, it did. But were there plans, were there budgets, were there resources that you have earmarked? Or you earn 50K. These are just quick realities. You earn 50K and you have a plan to become a millionaire in 3 years' time. Think about it. How does that work? Your cash flow does not even, so there has to be a bit of reality, a reality check when you're doing your strategic plan. Many organizations, let me not say many, well, with these numbers, as Fortune magazine told us, it's many, right? We don't link our strategy to budget. We're not looking at the income stream that we have as an organization. How does it support what we really want to become? Right. So 90% of organizations actually would fail in getting their plan to become a reality. Why? Because they don't link it to budget. And many times people that, I mean, we spoke about people earlier this morning, how you need people to deliver your strategy, right? If the people that will deliver the strategy are not incentivized or they're not motivated, I give a beautiful example. In one of the businesses I partnered, I mean, this is one of my favorite examples, and in a couple of sessions I've shared it. We were going to, we actually launched a new product, and the new product was not experiencing a good offtake. We had to come up with a plan to incentivize our people so that this strategy would work. We want to capture new markets. That's the strategy. And then how do we want to capture new markets? We came up with a new product, but the product wasn't receiving the kind of love that it should receive in the market. What did we do? I told my people, if you can meet 120% of your target on just this NPD, I'm going to take you to Dubai, all expense paid. My business is going to do it. Of course, I had fought with my business leaders. We had pushed back and forth, and thank God, I mean, I still thank them for accepting that proposal. It worked. They accepted proposals and people went to the grind. They got the job done. Everyone went for that target. And we had about 3 people, not about, we actually had 3 people that hit that target. They did more than 120 of, I mean, the quarter was 120. They did more than 120, and we kept our promise. We took them to Dubai, all expense paid. We linked whatever we want to deliver, we linked it to our people and motivated them to buy it. Someone will say, what if I don't have all the money? There will be a lot of other things that you could use to motivate your people to buy that vision, to buy the action they need to take. What my people needed to do at that time was to sell. And then we had to incentivize them to sell, and they sold. Right. So when you have a strategy and you are not spending time to discuss the things you would do or discuss that strategy itself, you know, many times we write plans, you know, New Year resolution. A lot of us write New Year resolutions in December, January. In fact, January, February, you're still writing and making beautiful plans. But let me ask you, when last did you go to your New Year resolution? That same way, a lot of organizations do not spend enough time discussing strategy. After we've done strategy retreat, once in 3 months, do we come back to look at those strategy? Yeah, very key. We have to communicate it. Yes. Thank you. Now, you know that when you go for strategy retreats, I mean, I'm using that instance because that's what is quite much our reality. We go for the retreat. When you come back from the retreat, do you sit down with your workforce? Do you sit down with your team to debrief them? If you are not doing so, most likely 90% of other managers are not doing it. and the business is also not doing it. And that's why many strategies fail. So when you develop your beautiful plan, and it's so fantastic, we're going to get 85% of the market share, if that's quite a reality, we do not come back. Yeah. You do not come back to discuss what you have agreed at the retreat with the people. That's a very significant part of making your strategy to succeed. Okay? Okay, so next. So, from everything I painted earlier on, these are quite much the things a couple of us have mentioned in the chat room. Nobody is holding anyone accountable for the things they're supposed to do. Right. Yeah, it's very, very important for us to understand the synergy. If there is no synergy, if there is no buy-in, sometimes you go for a retreat, your management is at that retreat, but they are also the ones, or even the executives are the ones that will release resources for your strategy. So let's say your team has a strategy, HR has a strategy, and it is not being bought. If it's not being bought, most likely it's dead on arrival, right? So we're talking about incentivizing your people, motivating them to buy that strategy and buy their parts of that strategy, the things they're supposed to do to deliver that strategy. And a very significant part of this is being able to look at your progress and say, this is where we are, and this is how we want to go. Okay then. So next, please. And before that next, when you make bogus plans, it will not work. It's not a curse, right? If your plans are larger than life, you should think big. I love the guy that wrote that book. I've read that book a couple of times. Think big, but I beg you, don't be over ambitious. Let your ambition be realistic. As much as I'm not encouraging you to think small, either as a business owner or as an HR partner or professional, don't be over ambitious in such a way that you cannot match your budget. People that said start small, they know what they were saying when they said that. So if you've not been making strategic plans before and you just want to start with, something that's within what you can do. And then, of course, over time, we're going to talk about managing your risk and minimizing that risk. Next slide, please. My friend. Okay. So sometimes we make mistakes at the beginning of our strategy. And that is implementation plan. We're making a very fantastic strategy. While we're doing that work, we should, at the back of our mind, think about how we want to implement. So look at a plan to conduct an in-person training, right, in Washington, D.C. on 15th of August. How realistic is that plan now? You can't go nowhere. So the best is to tweak your plan and make it virtual, right? Like we're doing right now. Maybe next tHRive conference, we're going to have it in Washington, D.C. That might be a prophecy. But the current reality is that you need to think about how you implement. If your current state of things does not favor your implementation, your strategy is already dead on arrival. So at the point of thinking how you want to do stuff, what you want to do, you begin to look at, at the point of thinking what you want to do, you begin to look at how you want to do it. So if you have the how in mind, that's what kept on ringing in my mind while I was thinking about this session. And looking at the things one has done in the past, everything that you do that delivers results, most times outside the stroke of luck, you must have considered the how you want to do it. So if you don't take anything out of this room today, take this out. always ask how. You know that book about why, ask why? Very interesting. You should ask why. But that how is very key for the success of your strategy. If anyone is talking to you about how they want to become something in life, please ask how. If you are making a plan how you want to become the biggest human being, most influential person in this world, please ask how. That how is the secret of execution. It is the secret of making strategy work. Next slide, please. All right. So in making your strategy work, of course, you require a couple of tools. In all honesty, these are very fantastic tools. These are tools that professionals have developed. You have the business portfolio analysis by GE, right? And Porter's have done a model. Porter has done a model on industry analysis. But I would just keep this and just go to your SWOT and talk about critical question analysis. So in critical question analysis, I really like it that much. So let's just go to the next slide, Jide. Let's go to the next slide and quickly just run through the SWOT bits and the critical questions that one should ask. So for example, this is a model, this is a tool, right? For strategy formulation. But I like it because it answers or it hits a couple of things, whether in strategy or outside strategy. When you're thinking about how you want to do stuff, ask this kind of questions, especially for your organization, either your personally run organization or your enterprise, your business entity that you're partnering. So ask that question. What's the purpose of this business, this organization? You're in manufacturing sector. I saw someone from the agri sector. There is that purpose that is at the heart of the organization. That's why we exist. If you ask Jide today, I'm sure he could tell you the purpose of Adulam, why Adulam is positioned this way. And of course, I believe one of the strategies is what we're doing today and what we've done in a couple of weeks back. So what's the purpose, right? What are we aiming at? Why are we here? Okay, and then you're asking, what kind of environment is my organization existing in? Which environment are we in? If you're doing business in Nigeria, you've got to be careful the kind of models and tools you copy, and that's more reason why I wouldn't want us to be as theoretical. We should be as practical as possible. The situation, it was just yesterday we were having a conversation, and we're looking at how things are turning out in this country, how for every business that is thriving, the government just want to have something out of it, right? Someone said, just don't boom, because if you boom, you're going to get, the government coming to to charge you something to take out the boom. I'm just, rephrasing or paraphrasing that comment, but the kind of environment you're in, you're looking at your pestle, your political environment, your environmental, you're looking at the social environment, the technology that affects your business, you're looking at a couple of things, the legal framework around the environment where you operate. Those questions are very key. When you're putting all of that on another canvas for implementation, I won't say this anyway, but it's just something that's come to mind, an implementation canvas. You should actually design one. Maybe in my subsequent session, I'll come up with something. An implementation canvas. You should have an implementation canvas that shows the risk, the things that you're likely to face. That's the dividing line between your strategy and your implementation. What is that thing that is like your Red Sea? How would you cross your Red Sea to arrive at your promised land? This environmental analysis is very important, very critical in making that happen. These are questions you should ask yourself, and don't move on until you have answers. So after this session, you could just take time out and take these questions and begin to write down the business you currently partner. What's the purpose? The business you currently partner, which environment are we in? The kind of business terrain that a food business is operating in is going to be a bit different. How you're going to interpret your pestle is going to be a bit different for the technology business right now. It's going to be a bit different for the luxury business, right? So sometimes we're looking at just our immediate environment, but then you should also consider the global space What are the what has become a global village now? So a lot of factors that ordinarily didn't affect us, they are now affecting us. And that should be put in consideration. So based on your environment, based on this analysis you have done, right? Where are you headed? So there is the conceptual, the concept of where you're headed, right? And then the reality of where you're headed. If you understand what I'm saying, by the time you were making your plans at stage 1, and by the time you come to your stage 3, you would have considered the realities of your environment, right? And then when you do the analysis, you should be checking from the past. If you do an analysis of the past, one of my very fantastic senior friends would say that if you really want to go far, if you really want to move quite fast, right, you should make a habit of connecting the dots backwards. Why? Because you would be able to pick out the things that you have done well and how you could actually do certain things better. And so in your retreats, in your sessions, make a habit of doing a review, looking at what you could have done better in the past and how do you want to take those corrections into the future, how you want to course correct. Thank you, Jide, for next slide. Yeah, so I think virtually everyone in this room is familiar with the SWOT analysis. And what I want you to look at from the previous slide, we looked at how you're checking your purpose, your environmental factors that are affecting you, and how you want to progress into the future. You begin to analyze your organization as an entity, looking at it from the point of view of the strength and weakness of the organization. So you're looking internally, you're looking at your people, the skill set of the people you have, the kind of your cash flow, your revenue, the size of your revenue, the size of your turnover, right? What are the cultural influences on your organization? What's the quality of your leadership, your strength, your weakness internally as an organization? And how do you put all of that together? And how does the external factors of the opportunities that are available in your environment, the threats that would not allow your business to do well, you look at those factors and then marry the two. Most times you will find a gap. See how do you want to use your strength and weakness to play in the industry where your opportunities and your threats are, right? So if you're able to identify your strength and be able to leverage your strength, right? Many times, people talk about working on your weakness, closing your gaps, very important. But honestly, it's of more advantage when you focus your strength and minimize your weakness. Focus more, use your strength to take advantage of the opportunities. Use your strength to take advantage of the opportunities in your space. So if you do analysis of your organization and you do not have strength of number, for example, internally, competence, right? Then you need to be careful the kind of opportunities you want to go for. For instance, a business that wants to, that's carved a niche for HNIs, you look into your organization and you do not have the strength of the kind of people that could hold conversations with HNIs, and you have not trained them that much, you're really going to be missing out on opportunities in that market because you do not have what it takes to go for those opportunities. So this is actually going to help when you're not looking. Yes, you should think about your threats and your weaknesses, but if you're developing your strategy from the point of view of your weakness and the threat, right here, most likely you will spend more time trying to deal with things. You'll be thinking about problems. But if you want to be solution oriented, which is what I'm going to be encouraging you to be, you should focus your strength and then use those strengths to take advantage of opportunities in the future. Thank you for the next slide, Jide. Right. So you've done your SWOT analysis, you have clear direction as to the opportunities you want to go for. you should have an approach. In making your plan, I mean, I've in that sort of analysis, I've spoken about your environmental scan, right? Ahead of that, looking at assessing your environment, look at the things you have to deal with, right? But you start from where you are, like I've shared earlier. You look at where you are as an organization. You assess your focus, your mission, your values, right? You know, because subsequently we're going to talk about those things that affect the reason, how we deliver our strategy, right? Your values are very, very key. How is it ingrained in your people, in their ways of working? So what are the big stuff, right? The fine, high level things that you must pursue. Now, let's not lose focus. Sometimes you want to think about execution, you want to think about how, and because of that, you lose focus on the big picture. Let's be careful not to lose focus on the big picture while we're thinking about the how. The how is important, but we must keep the big picture in view. And that's how you get to understand your business, right? Look at the things, the reason why we are here, and then you pick the big stuff that ties to where we want to be. And then, of course, the how is very key. So I'm going to just jump to the next slide and see how we implement this. Of course, you're going to, most likely, I think Julia is going to share this. So you'll be able to reference those slides. Now, this is a very important bit for me. You've done all this beautiful stuff and you want to implement. There are plans that you have made, but the bits that would determine whether you will arrive at delivering your goals and objectives right here are the actions. So you have your strategy, and then you have beautiful plans, well laid out. You know that template that shows who is going to do, what you're going to do, when it's going to be done, who is responsible, all of that, right? But if it's not crafted in terms of action, what people will do, right? That particular thing that Mr. Obaseki is going to do for us to deliver 1,000 tons, right? For example, of processed fertilizer, right? That action, it's important that it is clearly stated. And then, of course, you want to look at who owns it. Now, everybody, every person in your organization, including the cleaner, including the security, has a role to play. And there's something called scripts. You should script those actions and always come back to check if it's taking us to us delivering our objectives and goal. And that's the most important bit of strategy. How we want to do it and what is the action to do. So you find that there will be a lot of, next slide, please. You find that there will be a lot of multiple actions that would be done, but you're going to require plans to clearly state, timelines, and there are a couple of tools that you could use out there to track your plans. Jide, please, next slide. So in making your strategy work, in making those actions come to reality, making people do what they want to do, or what you want them to do, right? You've got to clarify those goals. Like we spoke earlier on, when you go for your retreats, I keep making, that's example. Why? Because that's the heart, that's the place where all our strategic plans get to happen. The things we want to do happens there. When you come back, it is important to clarify. In fact, right at that meeting, you want to clarify to say, yes, so these are the plans at the top 5 priorities that we have. And let's be clear. It has to be clear in terms of when we get there, will we know, right? There was this cartoon that a father was sharing a journey, and they were going somewhere, and the kids kept on asking, are we there yet, and all of that. And at one point, the kid was going to, just ask, please, will we know when we get there? You should always ask that question, whether in your mind or in a meeting, please ask out. How do we know when we get there? And that's one of the things that is lacking in our objective setting, for example, or your annual performance cycle, you're starting your objective. Do you clarify goals? Is it clear when we get there? How do we determine that we have gotten there? If you ask that question, most likely you'll be able to set very smart objectives, right? So, and then communicate. When you've clarified, you clarified at the meeting, clarified at various levels, at the point where you're making your communication deck or communication document, you would find that certain things are still not clear. You can always go back to clarify, right? And when that happens, you cascade. Now, let me say this. At the point of cascading to the workforce or to the entire organization, the people that play a role in it, at the point of cascading, make sure that you're also clarifying. You see, you come back, make sure that as you're cascading, you're clarifying what it is. So you're communicating, yes, and then, someone said communication has not occurred until the receiver has understood what you are passing across. So exactly what you are saying, what you intended to communicate to that person, you've got to clarify that that's what it got from you.
Okay. I think Faith lost our connection for a while. Are you back now? Let's say apologies about the network issues from here. Sorry, it's not been the usual smooth experience. We apologize for that. Okay, I think she's joining back now.
Okay, so looks like I'm.
Okay, you're back.
Right. Looks like I'm back.
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'm just trying to look out for the screen. This is quite. Okay. It seems I'm just the person that isn't seeing the.
Can you see the screen? Okay, Faith, are you with us now? We can't hear you. Hello, Faith.
That there is no iota of doubt. Say again.
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Let me start something.
No, we couldn't hear you for a while.
I think I need a mast in my house. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. You can go ahead.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so there are very, very key aspects of implementing strategy. If you really want to have any strategy that works, right? If you want to have a strategy that works, you've got to get your people right? You've got to get the organization structure, the design. That now has to do with your people, your systems, the significant aspects of that business. That's your partners, right? It's got to be right. Systems are also very key. Structures and systems. What kind of organization do you have? Is it a flat structure? Is it hierarchical? I mean, I've been, if you just to get a form, a document approved to execution. I'm sure you can hear me now. Your system have got to be. I'm sure you can hear me now. You've got to have a structure that works, processes that works, not multiple layers of approvals, things, that need to get done before you get to your next level, right? Now, earlier on, we spoke about budgeting. Your resources are critical. Your resources are a critical part of what you want to do. Okay, so let's quickly jump into the next slide. I'm getting quite excited about this. And the further we're going, the clearer it's becoming on the things that we need to do. So in terms of people, you begin to talk about the quality, okay, the quality of your people. You need people that can capture the right market, right? You need to, let's say you want to increase your market share by 10%, you're currently doing a 40%, right? You want to take it to 50%. That most likely will make you a market leader, all right? Do you have the kind of people that will deliver that strategy? So I could recall an organization that is a technological service provider. They provide infrastructures for business, IT infrastructure, and you have an IT leader that does not understand how to use certain devices to hold meetings, for example, or an organization that is an IT-based organization that is providing IT services that is not able to, for example, just convert a file from one mode, right? From one format to another. Think about that. Think about that. So how do you want to serve your people? How do you want to serve your customers? think about a business like this, a communication business, and the people in the organization does not even communicate well. The kind of people you have would determine how effective your strategy is going to be. And then not just the kind, the quality. So do you often come to analyze the quality of your people and then the resources that are available to you? Next slide, please. Thank you. Thank you, Jide. The video is off now. That's most likely going to help us. So in terms of structure, you're looking at the kind of design that your organization is. Do you have a flat structure? I mean, these days, I'm just in love with flat structured organization where all the bureaucracy is out or mostly out. You do not have layers and layers of approvals. People are empowered to make decisions, and you have some kind of systems that support an effective organization. If you want to be fast and smart, you should have systems that are fast and smart. So think about it. When COVID happened, I mean, I was in the manufacturing, I'm still in the manufacturing. One of the challenges I needed to deal with was how do we run a business that is a manufacturing business in a COVID era where it's a no-touch economy. I mean, these days we're now doing limited touch, right? Limited touch. But at the wake of COVID, it was no touch. We had to begin to look at how do we turn around our systems, our ways of working, our processes to embrace the new way of working. So in your current reality, you must always ensure that your structures, your systems are not reactive, right? You're not reactive with these things. You have it there, but you want to get to a future, and then you begin to come back to do your analysis to say, oh, we failed on this one. Why did we fail? Yes, you should do that check. But the reason why you didn't arrive at your future should not be that you didn't remodel your systems. Next slide. Now, this is a big part of whether you're going to succeed in your strategy, in implementing it or not. The kind of people you have, the culture, the diversity in your organization. I once was in an organization where the leader doesn't celebrate birthdays. And we had quite a very young workforce. Tell me, how would these people be engaged if one of the very significant aspects of life, which is celebrating birthdays, having fun, is not embraced? These are things that have bearing on your culture. Or you have a leader who has a culture of not dancing in public, but then you want to launch a new product, you want to hit the market, and your leader goes there and is not jiving and just rolling with the launch event. You're in the market, you're doing a market storm. Look at how that is going to impact your brand, how it's going to impact your business. You would have designed beautiful plans, your game plan. You've done that, you've done your war game, you're launching a new product, but right there at the point of launching it in the market, culture is becoming a major roadblock. Think about that. Right. Exactly. Yeah, I like this comment. Network issues. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's been a very an issue of concern, the way the network has been fluctuating. But I hope we all understand. Thank you for that. And of course, it's another way that another thing that ties into how we take things. What kind of culture, do we have as individuals? Do we take things hardly? And how do we manage situations that how do we manage disappointment, for example? ordinarily, I should just tell Jide I'm no longer doing with the way the network has done today. But we just have got to be flexible. We just have got to be resilient, right? And so the kind of people you have in your organization, the kind of organization you have, is it a resilient organization? It's part of the culture, right? How do we do our things? How do our people behave? Your people come late to work, and you want to be a fast and smart organization. You want to hit the market. You want to catch the market unawares. You want to get the market before your competition does. But your people come late. You come late for meetings. The fine details are missed out. I mean, they come in at the middle of meetings. Those kind of things that we can call little, they're like the little foxes that spoil the vine. So you should check out this thing, these components, and ensure that they are in sync with the kind of future you want to deliver as an organization. Next slide, please. Am I still here? Okay, thank you. So you need a roadmap to do this. So, I mean, all the things we've discussed in the past, your implementation, the things that affect your implementation, right? You need to have a roadmap that gives a clear description of what people are going to do, and then what the organization is going to deliver over what period, over how long, in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, what are we going to do to achieve our big picture, right? So that roadmap is what is going to link what our strategy is and the execution. Remember when I mentioned you need to ask how? That's your roadmap, right? So next slide. So this is so you want to create a roadmap, you should do this. You should gather information. You should get information that's tied to the future you want to deliver, the strategy. You get those information. There are certain information that are not available on the pages of the news or newspapers. They're not publicly available. So you've got to have network. You've got to be connected to understand certain decisions that are to be made in the future and how it's going to affect what you want to do. I share a story with you. I joined a business some years back, and during my onboarding cycle, I was sitting in a meeting with the business leader, and we're talking about the 5-year plan of the organization. And we got to a point, before we even spoke about the plan, it was sharing the picture of how they arrived at choosing Nigeria as the place to locate the business, how they arrived at choosing the organization to partner with, how they arrived at the place to locate the factory, how they arrived at the location for the backward integration. Think about it. Now, these are information, some are available in the public space, some are not available. So you've got to have the right kind of network to gather background information that would affect what you want to do. So think about it, looking at Nigeria being in Africa, looking at the number of population, looking at predictions in the next couple of years. What's our population going to be? Where are we going to be in terms of GDP? What's the quality of life, right? All those information are very important in making your roadmap happen. Now, when you're creating that roadmap, with that information, you're able to set realistic objectives. We're not saying this is going to be
We're still here. Just Faith lost her connection again. Yes, you can hear Faith because she lost her connection. She'll be joining shortly.
I'm really sorry, guys. I feel like crying. Sorry about that. Okay. So you assess your current realities. I'm quite sorry, people. I have MTN, I have Airtel, I have Glo, all loaded with data. So I'm not quite sure why this is behaving this way today.
Call them out.
I'm going to call them out, honestly. It's really annoying. Okay. So when your objectives have been set, you know, like I said, your background, those information at the background, thank you. Thank you. Those information at the background are going to make your objective.
Hello, Faith. Faith, yes, that's Faith lost her connection again. We'll try and get her back shortly. So sincere apologies about the connectivity issues. Okay, sorry for that. Just to quickly answer some of the questions that were raised before the start of the session about the other benefits of this apart from attending the live sessions. So the first question was about attendance. So at the end of each session, we share the attendance codes. That's for you to record your attendance at the end of the program. So there'll be like a form you fill where you submit the code for each of the sessions that you attended to. That is for two purposes. The first purpose is the people in there are two categories of HR professionals here. So there's a category of people who don't have any HRCI certification, but still want a certificate for attending this program. So Once you fill in that form to record your attendance, you provide the codes for the sessions that you attended. So your certificates will come with something like a transcript that will show the courses that you attended during this program. So that's why you need that code, right? Then for the other category of people who hold any of the HRCI certification, that's APHRI, PHRI, PHR, SPHR, SPHRI, or GPHR. What those codes also help you to do is to claim your activity ID to get your recertification credits for those sessions. So for example, this session is approved for 3 business credits for those who hold the SPHRI certification. So that's about the attendance. Now, the recording, someone asked about the recording to get the replays for all the sessions. So that's one of the other benefits that come at a fee. I think we detailed the explanation in the mail, but I'm just going to go over it again at the end of this. Let me move to the next question. Slides, yes, we sent a mail out yesterday for with a link to a drive that has all the slides of the speakers from the past 2 weekends. After every weekend, we'll be updating the drive with the presentations for that weekend. So you can check back during the week for the slides for this weekend, including this session. So for as many speakers that share their slide with us, we are also going to put it in that drive. And yes, is purposely made not downloadable for the concerns about piracy and plagiarism. So it's just view only. I think that serves the purpose. If the purpose for you to just to have a look at the slides again and to just study, I think that works as well. So it's not, you don't necessarily have to download that. So that's that. Someone is asking, is this certification like CIPM or what? So no, this is just a HR professional development training, just like you attend an online course on Coursera or any of those e-learning platforms or LinkedIn Learning. This is also like a virtual learning program where at the end of the program, you get a certificate for. So that's the certificate we are talking about. It's not like the CIPM or HRCI or whatever. But if you want a global certification, any of the HRCI certification, yes, you can get that. Okay, maybe you should clarify, Mamu. I think you're the one that asked that question, so you can clarify. But I'll just say that if you don't hold any of the HRCI certification and you want to get one, okay. So if you pay the fee for 15,000 for the people that fall in the non-HRCI certification holders, you get a 40% discount for our next virtual exam preparatory class holding in September to prepare it for the HRCI certification that you are qualified to write. So that's about the certificates. Eunice asks, can I get both benefits for non-HRCI and HRCI? I don't quite understand the question, because you either fall in one of the 2 categories. So if you hold an HRCI certification and you want the recertification credits, you can just pay for that and get the benefit there. And also it includes the benefits in the non-HRCI category as well. So there's no need to pay for both or to get both, because the benefits in the non-HRCI category is also included in those who have the HRCI certification. So I hope I've been able to clarify that. Okay, I can see some chats here. No, CIPM, no. Okay, Mamu, how about CIPM? I did not mention you. No. So the purpose of recertification, I don't know if CIPM has anything like recertification credits or anything. So the recertification credits only applies to HRCI certification holders. So that's why CIPM is not on the list. But like I mentioned, the certificates that we are communicating about is for those who just need a certificate for attending this program and to show the courses that the attendant year. So that's what that is about. Okay, if you didn't get the mail for the slides, please check your mail. If you're using a Gmail, excuse me, it probably went into your promotions folder, or if you're using a Yahoo Mail, probably into your junk folder. So please check any of the other folders. You see the mail there. So far you registered and you would have gotten the mail. So please check there. So Wumi is asking, if we pay for the videos, does that mean, so if you check your mail again, the benefits that you get is listed. If you don't hold the any HRCI certification, so you fall in that category, you get the replace for all the 30 sessions. You get the certificate of completion. You get the discounts for if you want to get any of the HR certification. So you get a discount on our virtual class, and you also get a 1-year subscription to our tHRive community. So those are the benefits. Okay, I think Faith is back. It's your time. Let's go back into the session. I'll take more of the questions later. Or if you are confused about anything, I'm sure it's been detailed completely in the mails that we've been sending. So please refer to your mail. If you still have any questions, you can just reply to the mail and we'll clarify. Faith, are you with us? Okay, Barry, you said you has attended 2 courses on Saturday, but you didn't take notes of the code. Again, so because if you are going to if you want any of the benefits anyway, so you are going to get the replay. So when you watch the replay, you can take notes of the code anyway. So that sorts that out. So once you make that payment, you're going to get the replays of those sessions, so you can get the code and then record your attendance. Nandi is asking, Faith, are you back?
Yes, I think so. I'm just scared right now.
No, it's fine. Just stay calm. Everything is fine.
I'm just wondering what exactly happened to the whole thing. Everything. I just had to restart my internet again. So hopefully we're back for good.
Okay, go ahead. Don't let me take any more of your time. I'll take all that questions at the end of the session. So let's go ahead. Faith?
Hi, Jide.
You're good now? We can hear you.
I think so. It's just quite an unreliable network.
Don't worry, we understand.
But you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So don't worry. Yeah. So I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Maybe I need a backup of intercessors to be praying for this network to just be stable. So in setting objectives, thank you. Oh, yeah, Mr. Thank you. Abil. All right. So in setting objectives, like I said, your analysis of the information you have gathered is going to impact the kind of objectives you're going to be looking at, right? So jumping right into assessing your current capabilities, that assess is supposed to be assessment. That's double S. I mean, that's quadruple S, that word. So in assessing that, you want to find out the kind of capabilities that you need to invest in, right? The kind of capabilities you should invest in so that you can meet your objective, right? Not only capabilities in terms of people, but also in terms of business. So I'll use a manufacturing space, for example. If you want to produce some certain kind of volume, you want to look at your the size of your potential, right? The size of the volume you can capture. Now, when you do that as an organization, your capability is impacted by the capability of your people, the capability of your leaders, right? Your processes, right? And the physical things that, how do I put it now? The physical structures. So think about construction business, right? Do you have the kind of financial capabilities to invest in certain kinds of machines that would carry out the kind of construction, let's say road construction, that befits the kind of customers that you have, right? So let's say you want to construct a major road for a population of about 100 or 200 million, and the population that applies that road, for example, is let's say 1 million per day. You need to know you need to design the kind of quality machine, or know the kind of machine you should invest in that can construct that kind of road. That's just an instance. So the kind of market you want to play in would determine how the assessment you would do for your business, your process, and your people. So in assessing your current capabilities, you're looking at the people, you're looking at the process, you're looking at physical aspects of the organization. So you're building your structure. All right. So for example, you want to increase your volume by a certain percentage. Do you have the kind of, so look at it in COVID-19, your market has got to, your route to market has got to integrate digital marketing in it. So let's say you do not have the kind of capability for digital marketing. You must begin to explore how to build that capability, both for your business and for the people that is in the business. Of course, the next is to look at your current assessment and what you've done, right? And then put it against where you want to go. And then you would now come up with a course of action. Of course, you would have a gap between your current capabilities and the capabilities that you need to deliver your objective. So at that point, you would see gaps thrown up. You want to now determine the course of action. That's what are the things you are going to do. So for the instance we made, you want to capture more markets, you want to increase your market share, say by 15% or 20%, right? You need people that are digitally savvy or digital marketing savvy. You need that kind of workforce. So what are you going to do? You don't have it. So you're going to come up with trainings, you're going to come up with what's it called? Modeling this kind of new market that you want to capture, new device you want to use. You got to model that, and then the action, these are the things that will determine the things you want to do. So based on the gaps you've identified, you will come up with your course of action. What are the things you're going to get done to deliver the future you want? Now, you would have the temptation to stop at courses of actions. That's more like a regular to do. But you need to projectize and come up with major activities or major projects, initiatives that you will deliver. When delivered, right, that means you would have achieved this, and this that would make you arrive at your desired end. So in those initiatives that you are formulating, you would come up with a roadmap. Now, don't forget, next slide, please. Don't forget, when you have your roadmap, it's also not the end of the game. You see, with all this that we've gone through, you can easily tell reasons why many strategies fail. That much work that has to go into getting your strategy implemented. Just look at that. You need to have a roadmap, you need to have action plans and all of that, right? When you do all of that, then you should do your risk analysis and manage your risk. You see, a couple of us don't even think about it. So there are different kinds of risk. You have your, look at those dimensions of risk and how they are likely to affect your plan, your strategic plan, right? So you begin to think about the challenge you're likely to have with performance, right? So look at this. You're looking at the decline in performance. Most likely, if performance of people would decline, if there's a reason why people would not perform, you need to nip it in the bud. So you've got to be proactive. Being proactive is not just about planning for the future, it's also being steps ahead of what might likely go wrong. That's question. When you're making a plan, can you think of what might likely go wrong? If you think of what might likely go wrong, you would now begin to put actions or plans in place to mitigate that risk. Right. So you've made plans, and then maybe government's decision is going to affect your plan from coming to pass. Look at it now. Just look at this. With COVID-19, physical distancing has become a significant part of our lives. For people that do not have vehicles or would not even ordinarily drive certain distance, you would want to enter public transport. Cost of public transportation has gone up, right? That further reduces your disposable. Certain kind of taxes are now being applied on different things. Name it. Yesterday, I was just thinking, maybe very soon, when you want to get married, they would now charge you a certain kind of tax. Everything is in the direction of reducing the buying power. So if you have made a plan to sell certain kind of product or come up with new products, right, and put it at a certain price, you need to go back and check. You know, that's a risk that has come into play now. The government makes a decision that in fact affects the buying power of your customer, which will further affect how much you can sell, which will further affect the size of market share that you can gather or that you can gain. If you look at those risks, from all this rating, your customer risk is the highest because it's really going to affect the size of your business, how much market you can capture. And then you've got to quickly make plans on how to mitigate those risks. A couple of us don't even think about risk when we make strategic plans. We don't think about why it may not work. When we think about how it may not work or why it may not work, then we would be able to mitigate the possible incidents of our strategy not working or not coming to pass. Now, in this same table, I want you to, you're looking at it first from the point of view of risk management, and then you're looking at it also from the point of view of an implementation plan, which I told you about. You can use this table and go back and just take out the risk factors and put the outcomes that are desired. Just call up the risk factor, look at the outcomes that you want to do. Of course, you can identify people that would deliver your resources. I hope you're getting what I'm saying to you, how you can mitigate your risk, and then how you can have a clear implementation plan on a one-pager that shows what you want to do, the risk that is likely to stop you from doing it, the level of that risk or the rating of that risk, and then identify the things you will do to mitigate the risk. Then you're putting your plans, the action plan, the things you want to do. And then you would have who is responsible for mitigating risk, and then you will have who is responsible for delivering certain plans. So you must have a tracker. You should have a timeline of when you're going to deliver it, and then always check progress of implementation. Wow, I am almost breathing a sigh of relief because we are as good as done. Can I have the next and final slide? If you forget anything that we discussed today, I know you will not forget asking the question of how, right? Always asking how we're going to deliver this, asking the question of what might go wrong, right? And then lastly, don't forget the slide. No matter how beautiful your strategy is, yes, your strategy is at the core of your business. That is the soul of your business, right? Your business canvas, the things you want to deliver. But never forget that you need to plan. You must plan, 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 and plan. And you cannot just plan and stop at planning. You need support from leadership. You need support from people. You need support from stakeholders, internal and external. You need the buy-in of decision makers in that organization. And think about it, when you think about decision makers, you are not only thinking about the business leaders only, people that make decisions at very low levels that even, I mean, you deem it low, but then it has a far-reaching impact on your business. You must think about that. You must have the future in mind, tied to your strategy. Where do we want to be in 3 years? Where do we want to be in 5 years, right? Without teamwork, none of these things would happen. I usually would tell my HR people, do not sit in your corner office and make a plan without involving people. Because when you are not there, that plan is as good as gone. So you need a team to deliver your strategy. So in spite of all of that, always come back to do your reviews, do your analysis, deliver projects, projectize the things you want to do. And if you've done all of this in line with every other thing I've mentioned in terms of your how and your risks, you will surely deliver on your strategy. All right. That would be a thank you from me. Next slide. Thank you very much. Thank you to Adulam. Thank you to everyone that was quite patient with all the network challenges we faced today. I mean, I must just say thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Adedoyi, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So questions, comments, and all.
Thank
Next
you so
slide.
much.
Thank you, Ibuko.
So can we, how was the session? Can we get some feedback?
Thank you.
Thank you, Osamudia. Thank you all for, like
Thank you,
said,
Samuel.
I'm sure despite the net connectivity issues, I'm sure we still got some.
Yes, thank you, Bumi. You're welcome. It's such a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Faith. Okay, so we have some questions there. I'll be reading them out.
Wow.
And
Thank you. Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
And also for those joining on YouTube, please send in the questions on.
You're welcome.
So I will take them here.
Yeah, in spite of the glitches.
Okay. All right. I'm taking the first question now from
I'm great.
Bay.
Thank God, I'm happy you gained. Bumi. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad so. Okay. So maybe Jide is going to help us to attend.
Yes, I'm taking the questions now. Are you ready?
So what are the core people management skills that are needed to bring strategy to life? You know, I wouldn't use theories, right, to answer this, but I would say communication is a major factor. If you don't forget those three C's, I would just add a fourth one to it. Just collaborate, right? As you're clarifying, as you're communicating, right? You should also be able to, while you're even cascading, you should be able to collaborate. So your people management skills, it's more of your interacting with people, being able to communicate and being able to collaborate with people. You should be able to nip things in the bud, coming back to the table to check where are we on this plan and how do we deliver, going forward, right? Wow, this is a big one, Yemisi. So how can HR people who work in organizations where strategy is not defined, core values are not communicated, hence, you cannot really say there is a culture. How do you cope or deal with all of this in an organization? So I've worked in I don't think I've worked in an organization that core values are not defined. They're usually written either on your website or somewhere in the books, somewhere in the policy. Now, let's say worst case is not even written at all, but you are the HR person. That responsibility, you might say it lies on the shoulders of the owners of the business, but the reason why you were hired or I was hired is to add value to that business. So what I'll do is to call out these gaps, and then I'll take initiative to engage the business leaders in defining what it is. I've had the privilege of working with a business leader where the organization had vision and mission, but then people were not even aware of it, right? People are not even aware of it. People are not clear. So when you ask them, they just know it's written somewhere. They can go to the company's website to pick those core values. But that's not where having your core values stops. Your core values should be in the hearts of your people. It should be in their ways of working. It should reflect in their behavior, which in turn affects the culture, right? So as HR, when you find yourself in such an organization where this is not defined, you should ask questions. And that is asking questions with the business leader. I've done this a couple of times to find out, okay, so where are we headed, right? And sometimes these leaders don't even have the time. They'll tell you, these are the things that bother me. They bother much about how we want to make money. I've been into enterprise, so I know how this thing works, how you flip between, do you want to have a fine core value or make good money, right? So most likely you will find business leaders focusing more on making money, where the money is. Our role as HR is to be able to buy that vision, carry that vision, and now tie it to core values, the kind of behavioral definitions that would help us deliver. So if we help those business leaders see that if we can define what is expected from our people, right, via the core values, via you telling us the vision of this business, I will help you couch it and refine it. But just tell me, what do you want to deliver? And then I put it together and I present it to you, show you, does this look like what you just told me? Right? It says yes, and I put it forward. The next thing I do is cascade with the workforce, right? And let it be visible. Like the Holy Book says, write the vision, make it plain, that they may run that read it. If someone sees the vision, if your workforce read it, they can understand their own part in it and they can run with it. I hope that answers it. So being able to deal is simply asking questions. And when you're just asking, you're not bringing the problem into the face of the leader. You're coming with solutions to say, oh, I think we should do this. And I think we should do this. What do you think? Do you agree with this? Can I go ahead? And before you know it, you're taking a burden off their shoulders. Thank you for that question, Oluwayemisi. And it's so good to see you. Are there other questions I missed? Is Jide around?
Yes, I'll take them, yeah. Hold on. Okay, so I feel like my strategy is a moving target right now. Can we really strategize for even up to a year? Quarter by quarter seems more realistic in these uncertain times. What do you think? Did you get that?
This conversation?
Did you get the question?
Great. So let's continue this conversation on LinkedIn. Share your learnings, please. That's really your way of saying thank you to us. Thank you to Adulam. Thank you to all the panelists, right? So please, let's engage further so that even people that didn't make this session would also be able to learn a thing or two. And when you also comment on LinkedIn, you're putting your profile out there too, right? So it's a win-win. So come and comment, okay?
Okay, Faith, I read out a question. I don't know if you heard me.
Wow, thank you, Yemisi. Bing, bing. So good to see you. All right, I want to guess there are no more questions.
Hello, Faith, can you hear me?
Okay. Am I here? I want to be sure I'm not alone.
Okay, I think we just have to end it here. Sincere apologies about can anyone hear me? Or maybe it's only Faith that can hear me. But please join us again in less than 1 hour for the next session. We'll be looking at people analytics by Oladapo James. So please join us by 12 noon. Thank you for your patience. Please take note of the attendance code, like we say. Let's continue this conversation.
So
on
let's
LinkedIn.
just, if there are other takeouts, to just rephrase or recapture, you can also put them there. But maybe it's also, I think there are a couple of questions again that came in. Okay, so I feel like my strategy is a moving target right now. Can we really strategize for even up to a year, quarter by quarter? Quarter by quarter seems more realistic in these uncertain times. What do you think? Yeah, this is sometimes when we are putting strategy in place, we do not think about the now, or we do not think about the next 2 days, next 3 days. So my point to you would be that have that big plan, but let it be, like you said, a moving target, right? So, but you always come back to check. So for example, this is, when we started earlier, I said, you should look at this session from 2 points of view. As an individual who has a future and you want to arrive at that future, and then as a professional who is partnering a business and also want to deliver the future for that business, right? So if I want to speak from the point of view of an individual, recently I was just looking at my 10-year plan. This is something I wrote about. It was like 2 years to completion of that. I looked at it. I realized that I'd arrived at more than 70% of those plans. So sometimes you have those big plans. They should not just be written in the pages of a book that you throw away. Sometimes you change your house. You don't even know where you wrote it. Some of us can use certain applications that you can use over and over again, and you can easily make references to it. So let your big plans, your 5-year, your 10-year be written somewhere, and you can always go back to it on an annual basis, on a quarterly basis. You're breaking them into step-by-step things you're going to do to achieve the big picture. So for example, that 8 years ago, I said I was going to have GPHR in less than 10 years time. And I think it was at the 5th year, I got GPHR in 2018. It was part of the plan, right? A couple of other things, which if I tell you now, I shouldn't tell you, right? So a couple of other things were on that 10-year plan, but going back to it, on one side, I was quite happy. On the other side, I was like, oh, you should have done this, you could have done that. A couple of things also happened that impacted that plan. But let's not say because there are uncertainties that happen around us, uncertainties will continue to be with us. So don't say because of that, you're not going to make strategic plan. You should, but break them down into things you can easily track and those actions you're going to take. For example, you're going to become a HR director, right, for an FMCG that employs 10,000 people. How do you want to arrive at that? You begin to think about the kind of qualification that is required, the depth of experience that is required to deliver that or to qualify for that, right? You want to go and check those people that are already in that position that you want to be. What kind of people are they? What kind of respect do they command? What kind of influence? What kind of experience do they have? And then you begin to take one step at a time to get into those places. Do you need coaching? What kind of circle of influence should you be, right? So all that, you won't just sleep and wake up 10 years later and think that you would arrive at your 10-year plan because it's 10 years. You know, just like some people would come to you as HR, oh, I worked 3 years in this company, I'm due for promotion. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's not about the time. It's about what we do to arrive at that point that we want to arrive when the time comes. I think that is answered. So in a situation where there is a strategy in place, but the staff are not fully involved, what should HR do? The 3 C's: clarify again what the strategy is, to be sure that what you got is what was intended to communicate. Then you cascade. At the cascading, you're cascading to the workforce of picking opinion molders. I found that quite useful for major decisions or major direction that we want to head. I engage opinion molders first, find out those people that when people ask them questions, I heard the company wants to do this, right? What would they say? So those kind of people, whatever they say, people will follow them. Get those people in a room. Paint the picture of the future to those people, paint the vision, write the strategy, make it clear to them, cascade, and then charge them with the responsibility to do that with the rest of the workforce. Or when you do that, then go back to the larger workforce, hold town hall, show the people where we are headed. There is nobody that you show a beautiful picture that you have set out how you want to arrive at it that will not be happy to work with you. Your key to engaging your people and retaining them. All right. Okay, great. Okay, so are there other questions? Wow.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all of you that waited to the end. You are the real MVPs. Trust that you've gotten value from this session despite the connectivity issues. We'll see you again at 12 noon. Please, you can share the link with your friends, your colleagues that you think might this session might benefit. We'll be looking at people analytics by Oladapo James. That'll be taking place in about 40 minutes time. Thank you once again. Hopefully the connection will be definitely better in the next session. Apologies again for the experience. Thank you all for joining again. See you at 12.